Good, happy Sunday evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, man accused of leading police on chase on I-93 from Tilton to Concord. A driver is facing charges after police say he led them on a chase from Tilton to Concord on Interstate 93 South early Sunday morning. The chase began about 2:20 a.m. when a Tilton police officer tried to pull over a vehicle driven by a 53-year-old man as it headed onto I-93 at exit 20. Tilton police said the man hit speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, police said. The chase ended about 20 minutes later when state police deployed spike strips near exit 16 in Concord. The driver of Concord was charged with disobeying an officer, reckless conduct, and reckless operation. He was also wanted on a warrant out of Merrimack County for a probation violation. Amazon warehouse in Nashua briefly evacuated due to potential gas leak. The Amazon warehouse in Nashua was briefly evacuated Sunday morning due to a potential gas leak. Fire crews were called to the fulfillment center at 10 State Street about 7:45 a.m. after receiving reports of a strong odor of gas in the building. Deputy Fire Chief Glenn McDonald said crews were unable to detect a leak. McDonald said, but gas was shut off to the building. Dozens of employees were evacuated for roughly an hour and a half, but allowed to return about 8:15 a.m. No injuries were reported. The warehouse was working to restore gas service, McDonald said. Hampton police, no threat after concerning item found at church. Sunday morning services were canceled at the Hampton church after items considered concerning were found on the altar, but police determined that there was no threat. The items were discovered about 7 a.m. at Our Lady Miracle Medley on Lafayette Road, Hampton police said in a press release. Police did not specifically say what the items were or why they initially caused concern, but noticed that there was nothing legally about them. Police found the person who left the items and said that the person did so to return them to a family member. Police said no charges are pending. A church official said Sunday's 7 p.m. Mass would be held as scheduled. Ruth Bader Ginsburg has been admitted to Johns Hopkins Hospital. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
But we start here, though, with new health concerns for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Supreme Court justice complaining of feeling ill, then hospitalized overnight. Fans on social media sending her hopes for a quick recovery. ABC's senior national correspondent Terry Moran joins us from Washington with more. Terry, good morning to you.
Good morning. With this morning, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg remains at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. She was admitted Friday night when she experienced chills and fever during the day. The justice was actually transferred to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore from Sibley Memorial Hospital in Washington, where she was originally taken earlier Friday. The court said that transfer was for, quote, further evaluation and treatment of any possible infection. At Hopkins, she was given intravenous fluids and antibiotics. She's responded well. We're told she's expected to be released as early as this morning. She's 86 years old. She successfully battled health issues for years, from colon cancer in 1999 to pancreatic cancer 10 years later. She had a stent placed in a coronary artery in 2014, fractured 3 ribs a year ago, and in December last year, she underwent surgery for lung cancer, and earlier this year had 3 weeks of radiation treatment for pancreatic cancer. But for all that, I can tell you that Justice Ginsburg remains very active on the court. I saw her at oral arguments at the court earlier this month, and she was a sharp, even intimidating questioner in those arguments. Still very active on the court.
And Terry, this latest health scare, a lot of people watching this very closely. The repercussions could be significant if she ultimately has to step down.
Huge. President Trump has already had 2 nominees. It's a 5-4 majority now on the Supreme Court for conservatives. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said he and his Senate Republican colleagues will confirm any nominee that comes to the court up until the end of this Congress. That means even if Democrats win the Senate next November, a year from now, that's a big if, the Republicans in the Senate would confirm any nominee if there's an opening until January of 2021, when the next Congress would take over. Guys?
All right, Terry Moran, live for us in Washington. Thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. Good night and bye, everyone.